So that's the last story I'm going to do on the staffing ratios for this week's nursing news. But I want to leave you guys with this question, right? We vote for these representatives to do the hard work. So I know when you go out and you're talking to people, they say, do your research, look at the stuff, look it up, look it up, look it up, look it up. And yes, it's super important to be an informed voter, but when it comes to situations like this, it's really difficult on our day-to-day as busy people that it's not our job to look at this stuff up. Yes, it affects us, and yes, we want to be informed, but there's a limit. We have shit to do. This is not our livelihood. We vote for these representatives to do that nitty gritty, right? So, given those two options, given that we've voted for both Governor Charlie Baker here in Massachusetts and Senator Elizabeth Warren, we, the Massachusetts residents, have voted for those two people in office. Yes, they're not both senators, they're not both governors, they're not representatives, but it is their job to do their research, to come up with an answer, to help us citizens, to represent us, to give us the best hope for a better future for Massachusetts, right? So given those two options, Elizabeth Warren and Charlie Baker, we know that Senator Elizabeth Warren, who was a former law professor, whose claim to fame was the conception of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which, by the way, saved up over $12 billion for 29 million Americans across the U.S. and has co-sponsored a nurse staffing bill for federally that would mandate some safe patient limits in all hospitals across all 50 states. That's option number one. Senator Elizabeth Warren, who is publicly saying, I am voting yes and you should too. And then your second option, the best well-known representative here in Massachusetts that I could find that is voting no, Governor Charlie Baker, who's been our governor since 2015, and prior to that, he was the CEO of Harvard Pilgrim, one of the largest health insurers in the U.S., and it doesn't just stop there. His claim to fame, remember, Senator Elizabeth Warren saved 29 million Americans over $12 billion. Governor Charlie Baker's claim to fame was that he saved Harvard Pilgrim from going under during his 10 years there, but the way he did it was increase your premiums, our premiums, the residents of Massachusetts and the people in America. He increased their premiums over 10 years 150%. And added to his own salary, which ended up being $1.7 million. Those are your options. You have Senator Elizabeth Warren, who saved millions of Americans' money by fighting these humongous corporations. That's option one. Or Governor Charlie Baker, whose claim to fame is saving Harvard Pilgrim from going under by increasing your premiums 150% over 10 years. I think that there's no question about it. Even if you know nothing about the ballot question. If you know zero about the ballot question, but you just look at who's voting yes and who's voting no when it comes to our representatives. And like I said, I'm just giving you those two options. But when you look at the yes side, you have Joe Kennedy, you have Mayor Marty Walsh, so on and so forth. But just on those two alone, the biggest names on both sides, the yes and the no side, Senator Elizabeth Warren and Governor Charlie Baker, when you just look at those two, the answer is clear as day. When you look at the two representatives and you look at history alone on who has looked out for the American citizen, on history alone, on who has looked out for Bostonians, on who has looked out for nurses, the answer is clear as day. It's Senator Elizabeth Warren and Governor Charlie Baker. I don't know. I looked. I really wanted to find something that you did that was positive for nurses, something that you did that was positive for patients here in the state. Nothing. All I could find was the great accomplishments you did when you were at Harvard Pilgrim. So that's it. I know I get crazy when it comes to this bill ballot question because it's so hard. The people on the yes side cannot compete with the ads, the money that these health insurers, that these healthcare, that the hospital association, that all of these big businesses are giving the no side to put up these ads for. We can't compete with them, and that's why I get so heated and I get to go on these crazy rants, and I apologize for that. But all the links to the actual studies, all the links to the backgrounds of both senators, all of this stuff is going to be in the description box below so you can look at it yourself without hearing me scream, rant, and get all emotional about it, all right? So all of that stuff is going to be in the description box below. Please click it. Go look for it. Look at it yourself. Let me know. If Charlie Baker is the greatest is the greatest governor that's ever been for nurses, let me know why, and then I will apologize. But until then, Senator Elizabeth Warren has shown that she stands for and with nurses, stands for and with Massachusetts, the residents of Massachusetts. Charlie Baker, brother, all we know about you and what you love talking about is how you saved Harvard Pilgrim. And like I said, there's many more representatives on both sides, the yes and the no, that have their own reasoning behind each. I just wanted to talk about the biggest, most well-known here in Massachusetts, and that just so happened to be Elizabeth Warren and Governor Charlie Baker. Let me know who else is voting where. Give me the reasons. Tell me why. Tell me why I'm wrong for siding with Elizabeth Warren. Tell me why I'm wrong for being upset that Governor Baker increased premiums at 150% and now is telling you in your face that he's worried about the taxpayers' money. Bullshit. I'm calling bullshit. Ladies and gentlemen, vote yes on ballot question 1. Safe staffing equals safer patient outcomes. Please and thank you.